Imagine a young boy in a small town in Richford, New York, barely able to count coins, carefully writing down every penny he earned and every penny he spent. He wasn't dreaming of fame, he wasn't dreaming of power, he was dreaming of order, of knowing exactly where his money went. That boy was John D. Rockefeller, and that small habit would one day make him the first confirmed billionaire in modern history. Rockefeller's childhood was far from glamorous. His father, William Rockefeller, was a traveling salesman, often absent and sometimes involved in shady schemes. His mother, Eliza, was strict, deeply religious, and obsessed with discipline and thrift. She taught young John the value of hard work and saving. But it was more than just saving money. She instilled in him a philosophy: control what you can, plan for the long term, and never waste anything. Even as a child, Rockefeller showed a rare combination of curiosity and discipline. While other boys his age were playing, he was calculating. He kept detailed records of his small earnings and meticulously planned how to spend, save, and invest. That habit would later become the cornerstone of his empire. As a teenager, Rockefeller took his first job as a bookkeeper in Cleveland, Ohio. The work was repetitive and often boring, but it taught him invaluable lessons. He learned how businesses made money, where they lost it, and how to control expenses to maximize profits. He realized early on that success wasn't about luck, it was about planning, precision, and understanding numbers. He understood that most businesses failed not because of poor products, but because of inefficiency, waste, and disorganization. By the age of 20, Rockefeller had started his first business, trading commodities like grain, meat, and produce. He was cautious, meticulous, and obsessed with long-term growth rather than quick gains. His partners sometimes criticized him for being too conservative, but Rockefeller knew that building a lasting fortune required patience, discipline, and relentless attention to detail. The turning point came in the 1860s when the world discovered the value of oil. Kerosene, derived from crude oil, was transforming homes and streets across America. Suddenly, everyone was chasing oil like it was gold. Wells were drilled everywhere. Investors poured money into risky ventures. Many companies appeared overnight and vanished just as quickly. But Rockefeller saw what others missed. He realized the real opportunity wasn't in drilling, that was unpredictable and dangerous, it was in refining. Refining oil turned it into usable products, like kerosene for lamps, lubricants, and other byproducts. Refining was steady, scalable, and controllable. If you could refine better, faster, and cheaper than anyone else, you could dominate the industry. Rockefeller applied everything he had learned in bookkeeping and commodity trading. He meticulously tracked costs, cut waste, and even found uses for byproducts that others discarded. He turned what was considered useless into profit: petroleum jelly, paraffin wax, lubricants, and more. Nothing was wasted. Every part of the process generated value. In 1870, Rockefeller founded Standard Oil. It began as a single refinery in Cleveland, but Rockefeller had a vision far bigger than one plant. He wanted total control over the market. He negotiated secret deals with railroads to transport his oil at discounted rates, giving him a pricing advantage his competitors could never match. Slowly, refinery by refinery, he absorbed rivals, consolidating the industry under Standard Oil. By the 1880s, Rockefeller controlled approximately 90% of U.S. oil refining. Imagine that, almost every drop of oil refined in the country passed through his company. He didn't just create wealth, he created a near absolute monopoly. His empire became so large and powerful that it drew criticism, public scrutiny, and eventually government intervention. But Rockefeller's methods were brilliant. He wasn't just aggressive, he was strategic. He reinvested profits back into his business, modernized equipment, reduced waste, and constantly sought efficiency. He understood that by controlling every part of the system, he could maximize profits and minimize risk. While his competitors chased short-term gains, Rockefeller thought decades ahead. Even the U.S. government eventually had to intervene. By 1911, the United States Supreme Court ordered the breakup of Standard Oil into smaller companies. But Rockefeller was prepared. He retained significant shares in all the spun-off companies, which later became industry giants like ExxonMobil, Chevron, and others. The breakup did not diminish his fortune, it made him even richer. By 1916, Rockefeller became the first confirmed billionaire in history, a figure that was almost unimaginable at the time. Yet, Rockefeller's story wasn't only about amassing wealth. In his later years, he turned to philanthropy, giving away over $500 million, an astronomical sum then, funding education, medicine, scientific research, and public health initiatives. Rockefeller's charitable contributions helped fight diseases, improve medical research, and establish institutions that still exist today, influencing millions of lives. What truly set Rockefeller apart was not just his money, but his mindset. He thought in systems, in efficiency, in strategy, and in the long term. While others chased short-term profits, he built enduring structures. While others wasted resources, he found value in everything. He transformed not just the oil industry, but the very idea of wealth, business, and capitalism in the modern era. There is. From a humble bookkeeper to a titan of industry, from oil refineries to global philanthropy, John D. Rockefeller didn't just make money. He redefined it. He redefined business. And he left a legacy that still shapes the modern world today.